You think, how was life on the streets?
Life on the streets, street life, hood life, whatever you want to call it. I slipped into it, slowly but surely. Mind you, I just told you how my dreams got shattered. But prior to my dreams got shattered, we talked about experimenting with things. So about the age of 13, I experimented hustling. It worked out. But like I said earlier, thank God for the sports, because that removed the temptation of me hustling at that age. So it saved me then. But when my dreams got shattered, I immediately took to the streets. It seemed like it came natural. Granted, in spite of graduating at the top half of my class, completing, walking down the aisle, I can't forget how, on my way to school, how I seen these gentlemen, these old heads on the corner, doing what they did. Always wondering, you know, what do they get out of this corner? What do they get out of every day? I'm seeing these dudes on the corner doing the same thing day out and day in. Yeah, they was getting money, flashy cars, the clothes, the hoes. I ain't gonna call sisters hoes, the women. You know, they was doing their thing. And it looked real comfortable to them, man. It looked like it was legal what they was doing. It was okay, so forth and so on, man. I didn't know the other side, the downside of living that life. I didn't know until I got 100% involved. And when I got involved, man, it was like, you know, you lost all care. You lost all care in the world. I definitely became totally self-centered. I definitely became all about me. You know what I mean? I can honestly say I was never a follower to a degree. I mean, I followed the old heads because I seen what they was doing, but as I evolved, I was a leader. You know, like I initiated my little crew hustling. I initiated the robberies. I initiated the stick-ups. I initiated the plotting and the planning. I initiated who had what shift. I did that. You know, I took the place of the old heads on the corner. Now I'm the old head on the corner and the young bucks walking by wanting to stop and chill with us. And I'm like, y'all get head to school, yo. This ain't for y'all. Like, the roles had reversed, but the game was still the same. The only thing changed was the people and the faces. You know what I mean? That was the only thing that changed. So now I had took the role of the old head. So now I'm watching little young bucks come, and they coming by and they wanting to chill. I'm like, no, y'all get ahead, this ain't for y'all. And I was still doing what I was doing, you know, and eventually I realized, you know, after a while that a monkey can't sell bananas. You know, and that comes along with the game, the lifestyle. You know, and you know, we had a little crew, not a gang. But I ain't gonna downplay crew, because I look at the similarities versus the differences. You know what I mean? We did some of the same things that gangs do, except we ain't had to go through no initiation process. Ain't nobody beating my ass for 33 seconds to say I'm a part of. You know, you was just down, period. You know, we wasn't tatting our faces, tatting our hands to be a part of. It was just that we grew up together, so we claimed our set, our territory, our blocks, you know, 4 block, 3 block, 5 block radius. That's who we are, that's what we did. You know, but I ain't, you know.
So you didn't get into the hustle game for the finances?
No, I did get into it for the finances, but I also like the perks that came along. You know, the attention, you know, the girls, you know what I mean? You know, I got involved just about like everybody else got involved. You know what I'm saying? But what happened was, while I was in it, man, you know, I sampled the product. And after I sampled the product, I liked it. You know, we ain't talking about weed, we talking about coke. You know what I mean? So when I started sniffing coke, man, it was like, man, big ass S on my chest. You know, you couldn't tell me nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it was so plentiful back then. You know, I don't know what y'all paying now, but back then, man, for $250 you can get it. For $350 you can get an ounce of that fish scale. Ain't no fish scale out here no more. There ain't no fish scale. I don't know what y'all selling. I don't know what's out here anymore. But that was fish scale, where you see the little crystals look like somebody broke glass up in it. You know, but for $350, we was getting an ounce, we was bagging up damn near $1,800. You know what I mean? We was getting money. And then I slipped into the heroin game. You know what I'm saying? And that game was vicious. But overall, no matter which game that I chose, I was still a monkey selling banana because I had started fucking with the product. I started messing with the product. And when you start messing with the product, man, you know, things go left. You know what I mean? They went left. You know, and you know, it wasn't all full-fledged out, you know, abuse. It was what I thought. It was social. We was going to parties. We was hanging out. We was getting high all night. We was still getting money. We was dressing. We was getting, you know, we was getting cars. We was getting clothes. We was getting jewelry. Everything that come along with it, that's what happened, man. But there's always a downside to it, man. You know, when you become full-fledged, you become extreme in anything, man. They say too much of anything ain't good for you. And that's exactly what happened in my life, man. It wasn't good for me anymore. You know, as you know, when you play with that game, a lot of things come into play. There's some consequences. There's some more heavy penalties. There's some greater consequences, like going to jail. You know what I mean? Yeah, going to jail. You know, the only thing I got to really show for that game, man, is 17 convictions, stabbed 7 times, and shot once. You know, and wasn't none of that fun either. You know, you know, like who's proud about that, man? Who's proud about it? Lately, I've been noticing, and I ain't by myself. It's a lot of old G's out there, big homies. You dig what I'm saying? Like, it's sad that it took us to get to 30, 35 to 40 to realize what we did with our life. You know what I mean? It's sad. It's sad. But the blessing is that we reached this age. Because a lot of the cats that I grew up with, man, like I used to hear before, the old heads used to tell a story to where as though a lot of people they ran with, they either dead or locked up. And that's my story too. A lot of dudes I grew up with, man, they either dead or locked up or still out there in the game, man. I got a lot of dudes who still out there in the game, man. They still out there in the life, on the corners, looking like death, scrambling. Spending 500 to make 1,000, barely making 1,000. You know, come on, listen, man. That shit is so depressing now, so idiotic. But I guess you gotta go through what you gotta go through to get where you need to get, and that's exactly what happened in my life. I also learned that not a lot of things happen to me; they happen for me. And that's where I think a lot of people get some things confused at. They think things are happening to them instead of happening for them. Because these things that happened for me while I was in the game is a direct result of the man that I've become today. And I can say man, because a man to me is complete. Mentally, physically, spiritual, and financial stability. And I have all four of those components. And it's not that they were given to me, I worked for them. So that lifestyle, accompanied with the transformation and the change of my ideas, attitudes, and behaviors, has changed me to an extent where I can talk about who I used to be and the things I used to do. Not be proud of, but talk about them in hopes that somebody I can help. Somebody. And if I help somebody, then all glory goes to God. But that life is a dead-end street, man. It's a dead-end street. You ain't gonna win. You know what I mean? You're going to get the same thing I got, if not worse, death, or you can lose your mind.